Yo, what is cracking? What is cracking? What is cracking? Beautiful people out there in the universe. Welcome to yet another episode of ADQ's Renaissance. I'm your host with the most, keeping 100 from coast to coast through God our boast, ADQ. Now, as you all start to pile in, yes, normally I like to play a little music to set the mood, but yo, my music setup here is tripping. As you all start to pile in, it is me. It's ADQ. It's just my hair is like super long, and my beard is super short. Yeah, I cut it. My reason why has absolutely nothing to do with Michael B. Jordan. Just got tired of all that hair on my face, man. It's getting hot. Got tired of it. Don't worry, I'm growing it back. Anyway, welcome to yet another episode of ADQ's Renaissance. I am A to the D to the Q. Before I get started, first of all, I want to give a shout out to my friends over at Live Alkaline Water, best hydration in the nation. Man, I got kids saying that because it's that good. It's that good. I call it my Jesus water. Every time I drink it, it makes me feel so heavenly. Yo, I need a new batch, or else I'm drinking this. Don't make me drink this. I will drink this. Jay-Z shout out Fiji water. But I know that the best water comes from a well in Yakinville. Anyway, yo. Also, I want to shout out the cast and crew of Children of Eden. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it because of some scheduling conflicts took place. It's crazy. But yo, one play that's coming up, presented by my man, my brother, James Lyons. The Pressure of the Pandemic. That is The Pressure of the Pandemic. Written by James Lyons. Yo, James Lyons is what you would call a genius when it comes to writing theater. He's up there. He's getting up there with the greats, the Shakespeares, the Wilsons, the Terrell Alvin McCraneys, the Nathan Ross Freemans. I'm gonna tell you a little something about Nathan Ross Freeman in a minute. It's good, trust me. But anyway, Pressure of the Have y'all heard anything that I just said? I really hope you all heard everything that I just said. And just in case you didn't, welcome to ADQ's Renaissance. I'm ADQ. I am shouting out plays that are about to go up in the area. Yo, April 24th, 2022, 3 p.m. Check out Black Poetic Faces. Black Poetic Faces by Clement Mallory. Shout out to that brother right there. He'll be performing it at the Greensboro Cultural Center over at the Stephen Hires Theater, 200 North Davie Street, Greensboro, North Carolina. For more info, contact C37words at hotmail.com. Tickets are $15, available on Eventbrite. I got my tickets. I suggest you get yours. Let's see. Here's the story behind it. Well, actually, here's the opening act. Ancestral Beats with the Bradbys, a family-owned African performance group that provides education and healing through music and dance in a fun, interactive way. Adam and Sharita Bradby, a married couple, black love, yes, started drumming and performing together from the very beginning of their relationship. Though Adam has been playing African drums since he was 5 years old, they have performed all over the country in elementary schools, nursing homes, water parks, and even the Smithsonian, bringing healing, fun, and education to them all. To all. And just in case you did not hear my James plug, one more time. The pressure of the pandemic. It is going down. The pressure of the pandemic. The pressure of the pandemic. I'm going to keep saying it until I actually see the flyer. Saturday, May 7th, Goodwill Baptist Church, 542 Goodwill Road, Clemens, North Carolina, 27012. Tickets are $25 in advance. Doors open at 6:30 p.m. For more info, contact 336-695-7134. Just to let you know, I got tickets to both these joints. I look forward to coming through and watching greatness take place. Now, here's the only way I would not be able to make it. If I have rehearsal on that day, or on those days, of this play that I'm in, The Denim King. I am in The Denim King. Performances will take place for The Denim King May 12th, 7:30 p.m., May 13th, 7:30 p.m., May 14th, 2 p.m. and 7:30 p.m., May 15th at 2 p.m., May 16th at 7:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale right now at www.ticketmetriad.com. The Denim King, the Moses Cone story, shares the history of the Cone dynasty in their home, Flat Top Manor in Blowing Rock. And we will be doing it at Well Springs Theater here in Greensboro. Well Springs Theater here in Greensboro. Yo, I saw pictures of the Well Springs. It's near a nursery. I mean, it's connected to a nursing home. Yo, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful place. Okay, someone just said Atlanta, Georgia to me. I don't know who, I don't know what. Let's see who that was. But anyway, as I am doing that, okay, that's nothing. Um, tickets are $18 each. Tickets are $18 each. Come see me in the musical. I have not been in the musical since freaking Barnum. Unless you want to count my mixtape as a musical. But anyway, pull up, yo. Pull up. Come see me in the musical. Come see these plays. Shout out to Clement. Shout out to James. Great artists in their own right. You know what I'm saying? Now, let's get to why. Let's get to why I am going live. Let's get to why this episode of ADQ's Renaissance is going down. I call this episode of ADQ's Renaissance the N Word Part 2. Y'all have responded very beautifully to my episode, the N Word. So let's get even further into the N Word Part 2. Except, I'm going to give the definition of the N Word. And yes, I'm talking about, heck, we're adults. Nigga. I'm talking about the word nigga. That's exactly what I'm talking about. I am talking about the word nigga. Look at that. I say the N word, and I give a view. Yes, that's the word that I'm talking about. Now let's go over the definition, shall we? Offensive, used as a pronunciation spelling of nigger. Sometimes offensive, used by some black people to refer to themselves or to another black person in a neutral or positive way. Ain't a daggone thing positive about that word. Nigga originated as a variant of its infamous racial slur nigger, reflecting one of its pronunciations, and for many people, it is an equally offensive word. In the late 20th century, however, the two forms began to diverge in use among some African Americans, with nigga being the preferred term for neutral and positive self-referential uses. In other words, me referring to myself as, that. Despite the prevalence in hip hop, a highly influential music and cultural movement of African American origin, whose millions of fans now span the globe, these uses of nigga are themselves controversial, and the use of nigga by a person who is not black in any context is considered highly offensive. Why do I start this particular episode talking about the N word? Here's why. Because you all will not shut up about Will Smith and Chris Rock. That was the nigga moment of all nigga moments. You all will not shut up about Will Smith and Chris Rock. I ain't gonna lie, I won't shut up about him. What has happened ever since the slap heard around the world? Well, multiple studios have or canceled or postponed filming of films that Will Smith was supposed to be in. Chris Rock got a standing ovation at his first stand up show. Post that Chris Rock's brother Tony Rock threatened to slap Will Smith. The crazy thing is, Tony Rock was actually in the TV show All of Us, which was executive produced by Will and Jada and focused on the storyline that was similar to Will and Jada's actual life. Yeah, they've been putting their whole business out there for the longest. And also, Jada said that Will acted in a very extreme way, something like that. Yeah, so there's that. So, where do I feel the need to address this subject? I feel the need to address this subject in the fact that we thrive on negativity in our culture. Yes, we do. We do. We, as Black people, thrive on negativity in our culture. That's why World Star. That's what makes World Star World Star. You see footage of people, mostly black people, just straight up wailing on each other, mauling each other, fighting each other, some form of drama. That's why Maury, and that's why people actually watch Maury, which for me, I find Maury to be very classless, lowbrow entertainment, if you even want to call it entertainment. That is why VH1 and Viacom as a whole has been making bank off of these African American led TV shows and reality shows that feature us in our absolute worst elements. Fighting, cussing, baby mama drama, marital problems, all that on display to see. Our culture and the culture that we are satisfying thrives off of conflict. Therefore, when you have a legendary actor global stage at the most hoity-toity, bougie, hooty-tooty award show in all of Hollywood and slap the snot out of a legendary comedian, we're all over it as a culture. Why? Why do we live for these nigga moments? I tell you what, why do we like to treat each other as such? How many of us are, how many of us are, how many of us reserve conflict? How many of us reserve conflict and instead of humiliating each other, instead of berating each other, instead of arguing with each other, instead of making a public scene, how many of us decide to reserve conflict and take whatever qualms, whatever issues, whatever problems, whatever disagreements that may occur between both parties to a more quieter, more neutral space. If Will Smith would have done that, won't nobody have anything to talk about. So there's a so I had this theory that a lot of our behaviors collective behaviors stem from slavery. So this is the Willie Lynch letter I'm about to read to you all. I think that any divisiveness among us can find roots in this. So check me out. I'm about to read the Willie Lynch letter. All right. Gentlemen, I greet you here on the banks of the James River in the year of our Lord 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I am here to help you solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me in my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experimented with some of the newest and still the oldest methods for control of slaves. Ancient Rome will envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sailed south on the James River, named for our illustrious king, whose version of the Bible we cherish, that's why I don't touch the King James Bible. I saw enough to know your problem is not unique. While Rome used cords of wood as crosses for standing human bodies along its old highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and rope on occasion. Lynching. I caught the whiff of a dead slave hanging from a tree a couple miles back. You are not only using valuable stocks by hangings, you are having uprisings. Slaves are running away. Your crops are sometimes left in the field too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I am not here to enumerate your problems. However, I am here to introduce you to a method of solving them. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if it is installed correctly, it will control slaves for at least 300 years. 300 years. Let's see. 300 years. Oh, let me do my numbers. 300 years. So let's see. So 1712 plus 300 years. 2012. 2012, yo. It's 2022. So these methods have controlled the African mind for 310 years. I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. These methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies, and it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On my list is age, but it is there only because it starts with an A. The second is color or shade. There's intelligence, size, sex, size, plantations, status on plantation, add to the owners, whether the slaves live in the valley or on the hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. My people, this ADQ commentary, these are these are characteristics that separate us today in 2022. Now that you have a list of differences, I shall give you an outline of action. But before I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust and envy is stronger than adulation, respect, or admiration. The black slave, after receiving this indoctrination, shall carry on and will become self-refueling and self-generation for hundreds of years, maybe thousands. When we show hate to each other, when we go on stage slapping each other in public, we fulfill this. Do you not realize that the exercise of hanging a slave, hanging a black person by the neck around up in a tree was named after this man? Lynching. Don't forget, you must pitch the old black male versus the young black male, and the young black male against the old black male. You must use the dark skinned slaves versus the light skinned slaves, and the light skinned slaves versus the dark skinned slaves. You must use the male versus the female, and the male you must use the female versus the male and the male versus the female. You must also have your white servants and overseers distrust all blacks. But it is necessary that your slaves trust and depend on us. They must love, respect, and trust only us. Tell me that this does not apply to 2022. Tell me this does not apply to 2022. Gentlemen, these kids are the keys to control. Use them. Have your wives and children use them. Never miss an opportunity. If used intensively for 1 year, the slaves themselves will remain perpetually distrustful. Thank you, gentlemen. Tell me that does not apply in 2022. As we are going around slapping each other, as we are going around calling each other niggas, as we are going around, if I'm on a job with a black woman, it's me versus her for status that is appealing to the high to the to the authority. This letter is being fulfilled. If I go up against an elder or go up against someone younger than me, I am fulfilling this letter. You know what I'm saying? Post-traumatic slave syndrome. Boom. Great book. Great book. Post-traumatic slave syndrome is taking place currently in a lot of us. I will be the first to admit it. I will be the first to admit it is taking place inside of me. You know what I'm saying? It comes from generational trauma. Let me read it to you all. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. This from Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, written by Dr. Joy DeGruy. Let's see. Page 101. I was reading a little bit of an excerpt. Say that because I don't want to get sued. Upon hearing the term post-traumatic slave syndrome, some of my readers might think to themselves, how could African Americans today possibly be affected by events that occurred so long ago? After all, African Americans are free now. Sheesh. In fact, they have been free for a long time. Well, my response to them is that I am not a slave now, nor have I ever been a slave. As far as I know, nobody I've known personally was a slave. The fact is, I don't have any experience of being a slave. However, hundreds of years of protracted slavery guarantee the prosperity and privilege of the South's white progeny, while correspondingly relegating its black progeny to the legacy of death and suffering. It doesn't really matter today if any of us, black or white, directly experienced or participated in slavery. what does matter is that African Americans have experienced a legacy of trauma. What is this legacy? How is it transmitted? As said earlier, epigenetics research has revealed that the environment can influence our genes, and more specifically, that trauma can be transmitted over generations. Following excerpts describe how our bodies can store memories of past events. Behavior can be affected by events in previous generations, which have been passed on through a form of genetic memory, animal studies suggest. A body of research shows that your DNA may contain a biological memory of the stress your grandparents endured. Can trauma, stress, and even nightmares be passed down from generation to generation? Scientists say yes. Epigenetics is how your environment influences your genes. Our ancestors who were exposed to slavery, the environment that they were in, with the whipping going on, with the picking going on, with the lynching going on, all the horrors that took place during slavery made its way into their genes, right? And and that has carried down from generation to generation and generation, hitting us now in 2022. Thus you got one black man humiliating another black man on national TV. The two most famous studies are about Holocaust survivors. So people who become pregnant around that time, and then people who become pregnant just before, during, or after the famine, which was in the Netherlands around the same time. Those studies shows that people who were in starvation or stress just before they got pregnant, because they had either switched on or switched off certain stress genes, the baby was actually born with a different stress threshold than its mothers would have normally given it. Now, let's go to page 104. The intergenerational perspective reveals the impact of trauma, its contagion, and repeated patterns within the family. It may help explain certain behavior patterns, such as us humiliating each other, us thriving off of fighting each other, and slapping someone across the face in public or on national TV. Certain behavior patterns, symptoms, roles, and values adopted by family members, family sources of vulnerability, as well as resilience and strength, and job choices, following in the footsteps of a relative, a namesake through the generations. Viewed from a family system's perspective, what happened in one generation will affect what happens in the older or younger generation. Through the actual behavior may take a variety of forms within an intergenerational context. The trauma and its impact may be passed down as a family legacy, even to children born after the trauma. I was born long after the trauma. Slavery started when? 1619? 1619? That Willie Lynch letter came out in 1712. I came on the scene in 1985. And I have experienced. Let's see. Let's go back to the Willie Lynch letter. Let's see. I have experienced what's the word I'm looking for? I've experienced vitriol from older black men. I have experienced vitriol um from all the people that are mentioned, right? It's almost like we don't trust nobody who's not in authority, right? The dominant society, right? Um, we have to build a trust for each other. You know what I'm saying? Easier said than done because it's something that's been taking place for generations and generations and generations. But for one thing, we gotta get to a point where it's like we're not against nobody. We're not. This is called being on code, right? We're not against nobody. I will not go up against the older people because they are my elders. You know what I'm saying? In African culture, in African culture, in the continent, the motherland, we we value our elders. We love our elders. Um, dark skin, light skin, yo, shades don't matter, yo. Man, forget the paper bag test. I failed the paper bag. I failed the paper bag test. But forget about skin tones and stuff. Yo, no other race, no other ethnic group of people have as much of a varying shades than black people. So we are all one. We gotta come. We gotta get that in our minds. We gotta champion that mindset. So another book. By the way, again, Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome: America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing by Dr. Joy DeGruy. Great book. Browder File. Love this one. Now, we separate each other so much by skin complexion. Let's talk about skin complexion. We denigrate each other. Denigrate means to defame, to blacken, to make black. It is derived by the Latin word nigrare, nigrare, which means to blacken. Nigrare is similar in meaning to another Latin word, nigrare, which means to deny or refuse to acknowledge. It is the root of the word denial. The literal and metaphorical essence of the words nigrare and nigrare are found in another Latin word, negro. Within the language of Western Europeans before their contact with Africans, variations of the word Negro were simply adjectives for the color black. They embodied xenophobic views of blackness, which gave rise to the customs of associating blackness with evil, filth, death, and filth. In the 15th century, when Europeans discovered African people, they expanded the parameters of the word Negro beyond the domain of an adjective into that of a noun. This act illegitimized an illegitimate reference for all black skinned people and was the ultimate act of denigration. The negative forces which sought to perpetuate evil and undesirable perceptions of blackness have been working overtime throughout time. Civil rights, which were advanced under the banner of affirmative action, are now being challenged in court and rescinded. Many education and employment programs that were designed to undo centuries of discrimination are now said to promote reverse discrimination. It appears that the era of civil rights is rapidly coming to an end. What follows is yet to be determined. And lastly, I love my books, yo. I love my books. It's from the Miseducation of the Negro. Every black person here has this. It is true that many Negroes do not desire to hear anything about their race, and few whites of today will listen to the story of woe. With most of them, the race question has been settled. The Negro has been assigned to the lowest drudgery as the sphere in which the masses must toil to make a living. And socially and politically, the race has been generally prescribed, inasmuch as the traducers of the race has settled the matter in this fashion. They naturally oppose any effort to change the status. Many Negro professional men who are making a living attending to the affairs of these laborers and subject and servants in their mentality in their mentally undeveloped state, and many teachers who in conservative fashion are instructing their children to maintain the status quo antebellum also oppose any movement to upset this arrangement. Oppose any movement to upset this arrangement. They are getting paid for their efforts. Why should they try innovations? A Negro with sufficient thought to construct a program of his own is undesirable. The education systems of this country generally refuse to work through such Negroes promoting their cause. The program for the uplift of the Negroes in this country must be handed over to the executive force. Anyway, y'all get what I'm saying? So basically, as we go through these pieces of literature, you got the problem how Willie Lynch was brought over to Virginia to tell slave keepers how to trap and enslave the black mind. And then we have in post-traumatic slave syndrome how much that trapping of the slave mind has passed down to us in present day. And then you have in from the Broward file um, how where the N word even came from, and then you have how in Dr. Carter G. Woodson's day in the miseducation of the Negro, a Negro or a black person of high standing will be very much unconcerned with learning his history and learning about and trying to rock the boat. So, as I wrap it up here, I want to make something 100% plain and clear. I don't hate nobody. Anybody who knows me knows that I got love for all people, regardless of ethnicity, color, creed, all of that. I don't hate nobody. I say this because nobody depends on other ethnic groups more than black people. Which is true. Willie Lynch even wrote in his letter that we are to trust white people and only white people. And I see so much of that in present day 2022. I'm like, nah, I'm trying to trust my people first, and then everybody else. If they if they all earn my trust. So know that when you are watching these reality shows and just going crazy over people slapping people, black people slapping each other on live TV, you are basically enjoying the conditions of which we are still suffering due to what Willie Lynch constructed through his letter to the slave master and to the slaves and generationally into us. That's my belief. Anyway, I'm ADQ, and hopefully my facial hair will grow back really fast. Thank you all. Thank you all for whoever watched. Thank you for watching this. By the way, hold up. Y'all bear with me for a second, please. How y'all like my new logo? Look dope, right? Yeah, I did myself. So y'all, I'm ADQ. This is ADQ's Renaissance. I look out for my next episode coming same time, same place, same channel. All right. Look out for yo. Look out for all the plays that I mentioned. Clement Mallory's Black Stories. James Lyons, Pressure of the Pandemic. The Dental King, which I'm gonna be in. Also, go to SoundCloud and check out my mixtape, Prayers of a Field Niggas. I'm ADQ. I'm out of here. Peace, y'all.